You're a mum, you're a mum, you're a busy mum. Come listen to the Busy Mum podcast. Life hacks and inspiration for the busy modern mum.
In this episode of the Busy Mum podcast, I speak with Laura of Out and About Baby. We talk about how her business started, her military precision shopping, and how she plans out her week's worth of meals. Let's dive in. So welcome to the Busy Mum podcast. Laura, how are you this morning?
I'm so good. I've got my coffee now. So
got your coffee and long-term parking, so no fines.
Yeah, we're fine.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Laura. I am a mum to my almost 3-year-old boy, Harvey. Been married for 5 years, like only just last, 2 weeks ago, 5 years, but 15 together. So it was like kind of a milestone.
15's huge.
Yeah, and I own the company Out and About Baby, which I came up with the idea for when my son was 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
And then we officially launched about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Because obviously when you've got a new child, it takes a long time to kind of make an idea happen.
I think also like in those first 6 weeks you think, oh, they're just sleeping.
Yeah.
And I've got so much time.
Yeah.
And then you get to 6 months, you're like, hang on a minute, what happened?
And then they get to 2 and you're like, oh, stop moving.
Stop talking, stop moving.
Yeah. So that is kind of a little bit about me in a nutshell.
So what were you doing before you had your baby?
I was a PR girl for many, many years. I used to manage Clarins in Australia and New Zealand. And then I also worked with a lot of other beauty brands, some of the Unilever brands and kind of smaller boutique-y ones like Lanolips.
Yeah.
And then I also did some lifestyle and hospitality PR as well.
Okay.
So what made you move from PR to Out and About Baby? Like, what is Out and About Baby about? That's a mouthful.
Yeah, no.
So basically, when I had my son, it was just a priority shift away from really talking about lipstick. As much as I love the beauty game, I just couldn't talk about lipstick all day, every day. I was just done, yeah. And also the kind of lifestyle that's involved in PR isn't very conducive to a working mum. It's a very 20-something and go, and it's not a part-time kind of life that you can lead. And so I really was looking for something that had a little bit more flexibility. I've always wanted to have my own business. It's always been an objective of mine. And when my son was 6 weeks old, I struggled a little bit in the initial phases with postnatal depression. And it might have had something to do with the fact that we were like moving house and I had no furniture, and we literally bought a house like 2 days before I went into labour. It was kind of crazy. So there was I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And so he was 6 weeks old and it was almost Christmas time, and my mum was like, oh, we'll go out shopping and we'll try and tackle the sales. And I was like, yeah. And so we caught the bus in and it was like straight for coffee. We got to the QVB and I needed to change his nappy, and I was like, oh, where do I go? So I wandered around the QVB for a while. At that stage, it was hopeless. I ended up in a disgusting disabled toilet with one of those flip down mats, which is like my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And he weed all over the floor, all over himself, all over me. It was so traumatic of an experience for this first time mum, the first time I've been out. I was like, far out, this is so stressful, what have I done? An hour later,
to go shopping.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to buy some Christmas presents. Anyway, I've ended up having to buy him and myself an entirely new wardrobe. And we kept going, and then we ended up at David Jones, and there was, in the baby change rooms there, it was packed, and there were all of these other mums, and they were, it was really kind of much nicer than the disgusting disabled toilet that I was faced with earlier. Yeah. And it cleared out after a little while, and my mum actually I was like, oh man, there should be a solution for this. Like, it should be so much easier. And my mum's like, oh, you should do something with that. And I was like,
there's a problem there. How do you solve that?
And it started off kind of just being an app. that we were going to develop to find and locate baby change rooms. But it's kind of morphed in the last 18 months into this beast of a website that now means you can search for, yes, baby change rooms, but also secure play areas, microwaves, kids menus, high chairs. In the case of hotels, do you want an interconnecting hotel room door? Do you want cots?
Yeah.
So, and we basically have that information for hotels, restaurants, cafes, parks, shopping centres. And it's information from all over the world.
So who's adding this information
Our
in?
users.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all user-generated content. We have, we're based in the inner west, so there's a heavy focus on that at the moment since launch.
Yeah.
But we've also had locations added in Lebanon and London and Tasmania and Brisbane and like all over the shop, which is super cool and exciting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of exciting potential there. So you can just put in your like location that you want to go to. Say you're doing it, I don't know, you want to catch up with your mother's group somewhere different, and you're like, okay, I want to go somewhere in Five Dock.
Yeah.
And then you say, all right,
Needs to be
I need a change room. I need it to have play area. Put in your requirements.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada, and then it spits back all of these suggestions for you to go.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, I hope so.
well.
And then we've also just launched the Out and About Baby Social Club, which is kind of like a mother's group, but cooler.
But cool.
Yeah. Because, let's be honest, mother's groups don't work for everyone.
No, they're a bit funny. Like I
This.
I don't remember having a mother's group for my second child.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a thing.
No,
I don't think you're allowed
no.
to.
So when you've launched, how did you launch it? Since you are a PR lady, how did you go about launching?
We just went to our community first, you know, our newsletter and all our social media kind of platforms and channels. And the idea is we basically hosted events every month to 2 months, just depending on what it is. But the priority really is to feel like you've learnt something and you're walking away feeling like
so
you're enriched with information. And also the concept of this, like, growth in motherhood through friendship. Like, we really want to be able to, you know, facilitate conversations and a community kind of spirit and feed off other mums without necessarily just talking about sleep patterns, poo. Yeah. So our first one that we did was actually like a first aid workshop, which was really cool. And then
I remember doing the first aid, the baby first aid one.
Yeah, that's what we did. So I did one
just before I had my son, and I couldn't remember any of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was such a good one.
That stuff really
Stuck in my mind. I was like, yeah, because I had like with Maddie when she was 18 months old, we took her to the health nurse, and she managed to flip the chair and fall into the chair and gave herself a black eye while I was talking to the lady, and I'm like, see, I don't beat her up. She's so clumsy, the poor little love. I love her so much, but like unless you're watching her like literally every second, she was trying to kill herself basically.
It's hard, right?
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah, so we just did a little workshop that we focused on children's CPR and choking.
Yeah.
And then our next one is at the end of August, and we're calling it Snack and Chat because there will be snacks and we will be chatting. But we're doing it with our charity partner, which is the Gidget Foundation. And so they've just launched this beautiful series of books called, like, children's books, called the Bunny Book series. And it's designed to be a gorgeous children's book, but to emotionally support the parent at the same time. Yeah, it's really gorgeous. So they're coming along and they're going to do a reading, but we're all about the coffee and the cannoli, to be honest, as well. So that's what we're going to do for our second one. Then we've got like fashion ones coming up with some stylists, and there's going to be ones with diamonds and champagne, and then there's fitness ones, and there's a whole crew of things kind of lined up, and it's going to be fun.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
So can I ask another question, which I might edit out, I'm not sure. How are you making a living from this, and how are you doing it? Is it through advertising, or is it through, like, do you pay for the app, or?
No, absolutely not. So it didn't end up being an app. It's a website that's obviously mobile optimized. So businesses are able to advertise on our website. So all of the hotels and cafes and restaurants and shopping centres, anyone can be listed on there for free, and then they're able to upgrade their presence on the website.
okay.
So
So do you have packages available and stuff like that?
Oh, okay.
we it basically gives them like priority listings and more images and social media and blah 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 blah. And we also work with them to create content. So we've got a content creation studio for them. That's kind of playing into that PR background of mine, where we create stories and editorials for them, and they keep images and they're really beautiful. So we've done that with people like the Mercure Hotel and Mirvac Shopping Centre, some of the Mirvac shopping centres.
So you must be really busy. Yeah. Like, really busy.
Yes, but in saying that, I had a bit of an epiphany kind of a couple of months ago. I was reading The 4 Hour Work Week
Oh, by Tim Ferriss.
I'm a big Tim Ferriss fan.
Yep.
And I kind of had a big shift towards automating a lot of the heavy admin lifting side,
Yeah.
which has freed up my brain space but also my time a lot, and it's made a huge difference to me personally and my business, because towards probably the first 12 months it was almost like duck paddling underwater, going millions of miles an hour,
Absolutely.
and not necessarily getting any further. And
Just getting
I
busier.
feel like, just getting busier. And I don't hate the word busy, but I try not to use the word busy.
I like the word productive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much better, because also I feel like there are women in this world with multi-billion-dollar businesses who are mums and are way more chill than I am. So what am I doing that's wrong? Like, I've got to change the workflow process. And so I've moved towards automating a lot of it, and so it's just a lot less admin heavy, and it's made a massive difference.
Well, then that leads me into my next question. What does your typical day then look like?
Look, it depends. So my son's in daycare Wednesday, Thursdays. So those days are like head down, bum up. I drop him at daycare probably 6
a.m. 6 p.m.
8:15-ish. And then I'll, depending on the day, I'll either work from home or I'll work from our city space. So depending on the day, I'll work from either home or the city. And it's meetings and just head down, bum up until 4:30ish. And then I'll go pick him up. And hopefully on those days I've made dinner beforehand, because dinner is like the bane of my existence. And
Question for later.
yeah, okay, all right. I have listened to the questions before. So that's kind of my Wednesday, Thursday routine. And then Monday, Tuesday, Friday.
You're on socials going out and about.
Well, that's the thing, right? So
I'm with my son, but it's kind of the job description to like go do fun things with him.
yeah, and you
So
Turn that into business related.
it's kind of
multitasking, but having fun at the same time. And that's probably what you see me doing on Instagram most of the time, because I put it all over
and pictures of the
socials.
cool t-shirts that you have.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing one today.
Yeah, like a mother.
Yes, we just launched out little t-shirts. So that's pretty much my week, Monday to Friday anyway, and then.
So when does your son go to school, like big school? Is that a little while away then? It's obviously maybe 2 years.
He turns 3 in October.
So I'm starting to look at, what is it, preschool, not daycare?
Yeah, preschool.
Preschool?
Yeah, preschool you pay just as much as daycare, but get less hours.
I think it's cheap.
But you don't get the full hours.
No,
remember?
it's a condensed day.
But I was looking at one, and I'm going for a tour next week. But it's like $35 a day compared to paying like $140 or whatever it is for daycare a day.
How did that happen? How did it get so expensive? Like, I'm from Perth, and I paid $70 a day for 6 till 6. Yeah, this was like, so I've got a 9-year-old.
Yeah, okay.
And a 6-year-old. So this was like, almost 9 years ago, like 8 years ago. Oh my God, that sounds so long ago. So yeah, it's pretty much doubled then, hasn't it?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And look,
but do you get meals? Do they get meals?
So
Okay.
he gets meals and nappies and everything like that. And look, I love where he goes. I think the staff there are amazing and, you know, high overheads and things like that. So I do get it.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, one of my friends has her son in daycare at Mossman, and it's like $190 a day. So it's like they pitch to their location as well. So crazy. Anyway, so that's happening soon, and then I guess he'll go to school when he's 4 and a half.
As soon as possible, as soon as he can, as soon as he's socially ready to go. This area is very much based on like hold them back. Are they socially ready?
Oh, really?
Yes, very much so. So I held both my girls back. So when they went to school, they were both about 5.5 rather than 4.5.
Yeah.
But there are some 4.5s in there. So you've got an age range of 18 months up to like, so some kids are turning 5 and some kids are turning 6 in the same year, in the same class. So it just all depends on their social ability, apparently. So I also think they should be able to hold pencil, maybe write some letters and or at least write their name. That was one of my targets for my girls, is that you need to write your name. That's a good idea. You need to hold your pencil right, and you need to be able to wipe your bum, and you need to be
That's what I'm going through at the moment.
If something happens, you need to know how to like change yourself and put it in the plastic bag, and you know, like it's really being independent. So if something does happen, because a lot of kids in kindy have accidents, but they need to know also how to deal with them quickly and in a way that doesn't embarrass them and they get laughed at, because that was a big thing of mine, like with my kids when they went to school. Like I was like, I just want them to not get that happen to them, like not have that happen to them and go, oh God, and then be like, go through school going, oh, I remember in kindergarten this bad thing happened to me. So yeah,
want them to be scarred.
No, you don't. So moving on, what's the best advice you've received?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so when I was younger, my dad always used to be like, Laura, you've got to look after your teeth. It's like the most important thing you can do. And I always used to think like it was a vanity thing.
No.
Like my parents like literally used to hold me down to brush my teeth when I was a toddler, and now I feel like I'm doing that to my son. But I think as I've gotten older, and since even having the business, I've realised that it actually has nothing to do with vanity. It's more got to do with the power of a smile and making sure that you engage with people in a really friendly and nice way. Like, just be kind to people. Give them a smile. Like,
people love it when you smile at them. Like, sometimes I'm walking down the street, I'm not smiling, I'm squinting, and they think I'm smiling, and then you're like, hello, and I'm like, because I don't know what my face looks like. Sometimes I pull funny faces, and they're like, why did you pull that face? I'm like, what face was it? Tell me. Mimic it, you know?
Yeah, so I think that is very good advice. Look after your teeth.
Also, if you have a toothache, that ruins your day as well, doesn't it? So
Okay, right. Let's not talk about the dentist.
So are you reading any books at the moment, or do you have a favourite Netflix or Stan show that you've got? Yes, and yes.
I'm like the ultimate consumer. I think this goes back to my PR life, but I feel like next to my bed I've got like 10 books lined up. Like 3 of them actually, I think at the moment, are Tim Ferriss books.
He's so good to read though. Like, it's just knowledge bombs after knowledge bombs.
And you can like dip in and out. You don't have to like consume them all in one go. So they're really good. But I actually just started Emma Isaac's book, Winging It.
Okay.
You know Emma Isaac's from Business Chicks?
I don't know.
She is phenomenal.
Maybe I'll see.
Mum of 5.
Oh my goodness.
Mind-blowing
I bet she's got a
business.
clean house as well.
And she just moved to America. She's next level impressive. Anyway, so I've just started reading her book. And all the Tim Ferriss ones lined up. And then when I'm not reading kind of business-related books, I love a bit of a crime mystery situation. David Baldacci, I really like. And then occasionally I'll throw like a rubbish chick lit book in there, but I haven't read one of those for a long time, to be honest. And then Netflix and Stan are my life. I'm obsessed with Younger.
Oh yes.
Younger?
I was waiting for you to say Younger.
No, Younger.
Stop period, the end.
Yes, and I watched about 3
best.
episodes last night of Younger.
So good. And they're only like 30 minutes and I always am left wanting more, which is really frustrating. But anyway, so Younger, and I just finished watching The Tudors.
Oh yeah.
with
you mentioned that.
I
haven't watched that.
It's really, really good. And it's like, I feel like I should have remembered it from year 8 history, and I don't remember any of it. So I was like Googling the whole way through. Like, did this really happen? Because it's really like fucked up. Messed up.
That's all right.
It's really disturbing, some of the stuff that happened, and it's actually true.
Yeah, people are crude.
Crazy. I need a new show. Occasionally, like if we're just dying for a TV show to watch.
I've been watching that new Sacha Cohen.
Oh yeah.
Whatever
Isn't
his
that
name is.
crazy?
Oh,
How the hell
some of it I'm like,
do people not understand? Like,
it's a joke.
That he's taking the piss out of you. Like, that's insane.
I know.
People have been fired. Like, senators have actually lost their jobs because of it.
Oh, well,
It's
that's because
crazy.
they're pretty stupid.
And they're dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I just
The
remember
stupidity is mind-blowing.
The kindergarten one with the guns, and I was like, I just watched that whole episode with like,
AK-47 into a 3-year-old's hands. It's really
and how they say 12 to 4-year-olds. It's like, why are you reducing the age, not increasing the age? Oh my God. So yeah, I watched that whole episode with my mouth wide open.
Yeah.
Like, is this real? This is a joke. This has got to be a setup. It's not like, they can't not know that this is not real.
And the one where they got dressed, he made the guys dress up to try and catch the Mexicans. Like what? Are you kidding? Oh!
Yeah, that was bad. And the one where it's like the guy, they're in the boxing ring, not a boxing ring or a karate place, and he's like pulling his pants.
Oh
no! He's like, if you touch my bum, you're gay. It's like, what? Oh, so bad. Let's move on. I don't know if people want to hear this.
really inappropriate viewing, especially if there's children. Just don't watch it. if
Don't
there's
watch it
children in the
when...
room.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So before you mentioned dinners is the bane of your existence, you're always about dinners. Are you a meal prep girl? Is that what you're doing?
I'm a meal prep person, but I'm a planner. So I like live and die by those Kiki K planners that you have magnet on your fridge. So pretty much every Sunday I sit down and I like plan out the entire week's worth of meals and then make like a military precision shop on like Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
And just like try not to go to the shops again during the week.
Wow.
Because I feel like it's so wasteful just going back to the shops every single day.
Yeah.
So I'm like very plan it. And then also it eliminates the decision when you come home.
Decision fatigue.
Yes, right? So I get home and I look at the planner and I'm like, okay, tonight we are having steak. Tomorrow night we are having chicken.
They say in unison.
Yeah. But I'm not known for my amazing cooking skills either.
Okay.
So it's kind of just...
Meat and 3 veg.
Yeah, if I can throw it all in the oven in like one pan and then walk away for an hour, I'm happy. Like truly, because that will have to do because it's just too much fuss.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the ability to deal with that. But then my husband cooks on the weekends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's the one that takes forever and...
It takes forever and so messy. Oh my God. When he cooks, it's like... Oh, yeah, he's very Italian sometimes and like just food everywhere.
Well, you should get him to make like massive amounts of it, so then you just got...
That's the only thing, yeah. He makes this like phenomenal pasta sauce and like batch cooks pasta sauce. So that's like a backup emergency meal that comes out of the freezer. And also whenever a friend like has a baby, he goes on like a pasta sauce binge cooking session, which is awesome, and like I turn up with pasta sauce for everyone.
That's so funny.
Okay, so what's one area of your life you would like to improve?
I need my health. I'm terrible with exercise. I am all about the incidental 10,000 steps. If I make it, it'll be a good day. But actually fitting in
Like a weight
that doesn't
happen.
No.
That's that.
I tried bar, like extend bar, and I loved it. But I don't know why I stopped going.
I think it's really early morning classes.
Yeah, there were. I stopped going for some reason, and I haven't been back. That's terrible. I'm just not great with exercise. Whereas my husband's like the complete opposite, and he's a mad keen fitness person.
I've heard that so many times.
He wakes up at like 4:30 and goes for a bike ride or a run pretty much every day before work. And if he doesn't do it before work, he'll go at lunchtime. And then on the weekend, he'll go out riding and do 100 Ks on a Saturday morning and be back by like 9 o'clock. I know, your face right now is like, what? Yes, that is how I feel most days.
Cool. I barely get out of bed. Pulled something.
Yeah. So I would really like to improve there somehow.
I don't
You just got to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just the motivation and the willpower to do it. I haven't been to the gym once this week.
A week? That's great though.
Usually
I'm like a 12-month kind of.
Well, usually I'm there 2 or 3 times a week. And I do my 10 to 12,000 steps most days with my tracker watch.
Yeah, I would like to get one of those. An Apple Watch.
Yeah, this one is lovely, a G-Shock, but it only does... Oh, I can't program it. Like, we've got a midnight alarm on this, and we can't get it off.
Oh,
So we hide it in the cupboard of a night time, so when it goes
Does it
off...
turn itself off?
No, it doesn't. No, yeah, it does.
It just keeps beeping?
No, it turns itself off. It goes, beeps, but then we've got to figure out, like, why did it happen? You know? How did this happen? We'd been pressing all these buttons and, yeah, anyway, but it tracks my steps. But we had a Fitbit. Was it a Fitbit?
Yeah.
And that tracks your sleep and if you're doing stairs and hills and all of that, which I think is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, I mean
need
it's a nice watch.
My dad has
One of those. And I'm like, you're 70 and have more exercise technology in your life than I do. There's something wrong.
But you know what? I think mums get busy and, like, you've got kids and you're running around and you've got a business as well. So there will come a time where you'll go, I've had enough. I'm going to prioritise that.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen. That's generally what happened to me as well. I prioritise. Well, you've got nearly a 3-year-old. Yeah. So I got a 6 and a 9-year-old. I did it about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, something went snap. And I'm like, I need me time. And the only way I'm going to get it is if I go and exercise. But then I realised doing exercise is actually quite stressful. It's a stress on your body. So it's not a relaxing time.
Yeah.
You know, so then you need...
What about yoga or something?
Yeah, no.
Not into it?
Not really.
Yeah.
I went to that Bikram yoga.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hardcore.
I hate it.
Yeah, I did that
Hated
when I
it.
was younger.
I pretty much got the free pass and threw it at my husband as I came back. I went, I'm not effing going to that again. I had about 20 panic attacks and I was like, no, I can't get out.
People that go to those classes are really dedicated and they just make you feel so crap about yourself because they're so good and like, oh my God.
I know.
I have so far to learn, so much to do.
So much to do.
So do you have any daily hacks to make your life run smoothly?
The meal planning is like my major hack in life.
Yeah, so for Sunday. Yeah. Okay, so 3 quick questions and then you can go on with your day.
Okay.
Question number 1. Are you ready? What websites have you signed up to recently that you actually find value in receiving their emails?
Okay, yes.
You're like nodding, yes.
I'm all about this. I love Gwyneth Paltrow's website.
What?
I love her.
Yeah.
She could tell me to go buy a llama and trek up the side of a mountain to find a random flower and I'd be like, yes, I am going to do it.
Oh my goodness.
So I love her, but aside from the fangirling, I actually do like the website and the content. I find it really interesting.
Yep.
And also there's a lot of health stuff on there which I aspire to achieve. Read it and then
and then do it.
Forget about it. And then the other one is Tracy Harris's Mums with Hustle newsletters. I recently did a course of hers that was so valuable and I loved it. So I do like receiving hers.
Yep.
And then the Out and About Baby newsletters.
Yes, of course.
Obviously.
Duh.
What's one piece of advice you could give your pre-baby self?
Do you know, that's really weird. I've actually never really thought of that answer for myself, and I've asked it to other people, but never thought about my own response very well. Okay. I would say, like, just don't put so much pressure on yourself, because I have a habit of doing that. And also, don't buy a house just before you go into labour.
Don't buy.
Like, truly, it was crazy.
I know, that's so stressful. I remember buying a house and I felt like I had out-of-body experiences. It was so like, ugh.
The worst part was, we bought our current house 2 days before we went into labour. I came home from hospital, and the first weekend I was home from hospital, we had an open house for our apartment that we were selling. And then it was crazy. So I had a new baby, and I had to like keep the house in this immaculate condition to sell it. Every weekend we had people trekking through the house, and we had like a delayed settlement so that my son was a bit older when we actually moved into the house. And it took us 2 months or something to sell the apartment. So I did that open house dance for 2 months. And then when we moved, I was like, I want to get a new couch. So we sold our old couch, right? And a couch for a new mum is like life. Yes. You exist in pajamas on your couch. And I didn't realise that it would sell quite so quickly because I'd never used Gumtree before. It sold in 30 minutes. Whoa. And we had some Irish backpacker turn up and pick up the couch that night. Yep. So then we moved into the house and had no couch. So I sat on
beanbags?
Camp chairs, you know, those folding camp chairs in my empty lounge room for 2 months when we first moved in. It was horrific. Like, I didn't need to do that.
Why did you do
that? Like, why? And then at the same time all of this was happening, I was like starting Out and About Baby. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it's not necessary.
No.
Like, just chill.
Yeah.
That's probably my best advice to myself.
Just chill, honey.
And last question, what is the most useful and useless baby item you have?
Probably the most useful is my pram. I still use it, even though my son's little. Not little.
He's still little.
He's big. He's a big kid. But he still fits in it. But the reason I think I value my pram so much is because it's the one of the really small ones. It's the Bugaboo B, I think it is.
You've written that.
Yeah, okay. And
of course you would call a pram a Bugaboo B.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. So, but the reason we bought it is because it's small, and at the time we had a much smaller car, and it was the only pram that would fit into our car. But in hindsight, it was such a good plan because it's very easy to manoeuvre in small cafes.
Yes.
And for my Out and About Baby life, I have to do that regularly. And he still fits in it. So when we went, I mean, he walks, but obviously, but but when we're going like far or walking to the shops or whatever it is, he still hops in the pram, and it's awesome.
Yeah, prams are good. I remember, I never actually spent a lot of money on a pram. I always went the really cheap options, and I regretted every single one of them. Yeah, because in Sydney, like the street sidewalk is like all wonky, and it's like it's awful. So I got good arm muscles during that time, but it wasn't pleasant. Yeah. So my kids were walking probably 3, and they were walking quite long distances.
Well, see, my problem is when we don't take the pram with us and we go for a long distance, we'll, 2 seconds into it, he'll be like, "Mummy, up," and then this 17-kilo toddler expects me to carry him for the next hour. Not fun. That's my exercise right there.
My 6-year-old is 19 kilos.
Your 6-year-old's 19 kilos. My 2-year-old is almost as heavy. Oh my gosh.
She's a girl. She's just little.
Oh, okay.
She's so little.
Anyway, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure to talk with you today.
Oh, it's been wonderful. It made my day.
Yeah? Awesome.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Busy Mum podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. You can follow me on my Instagram account, The Busy Mum _podcast, or on Facebook, which is The Busy Mum AU, or subscribe to my iTunes account, which is also The Busy Mum Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Australia's newest ladies' leg shaving brand Pins. Perfect pins, pits and private bits don't have to be neglected this winter. Maintain your hair and enjoy soft, smooth skin. Check out the website today, www.pins.com.au.